Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're embarking on a journey to the heart of New York City, where gamblers, showgirls, and dreamers collide in the vibrant and unforgettable world of guys and dolls. And I have to apologize early on here. My family talks a little loud in the house, so if you hear a lot of background noise, unfortunately that is why. So anyway, Guys and Dolls is a musical with music and lyrics by Frank Lesser and a book by Joe Swirling and Abe Burrows. Guys and Dolls is based on two Damon Runyon stories and incorporates elements from others. These stories, written in the 1920s and 30s, concerned gangsters, gamblers, and other characters of the New York underworld. Now, Abe Burrows specifically crafted the role of Nathan Detroit around Sam Levine, who signed for the project long before Burrows wrote a single word of dialogue. Although Broadway movie veteran Sam Levine was not a singer, it was agreed he was otherwise perfect for the role. Now, fun fact, Levine's lack of singing ability is the reason the lead role of Nathan Detroit only has one song, which is the duet Sue Me. Larry Stemple, a music professor at Fordham University, had this to say: Nathan Detroit should be played as a brassy Broadway tough guy who sang with more grits than gravy. Sam Levine sang Sue Me with such a wonderful Runyon-esque flavor that his singing had been easy to forgive. In fact, it had been quite charming in its ineptitude. Now, the production would open on Broadway at the 46th Street Theater in November of 1950. The musical would run for 1,200 performances, winning 5 1951 Tony Awards, including the award for Best Musical. The production would later transfer to the London Coliseum in May of 1953, just a few days before the 1953 coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. Credited with above-the-title billing, the London cast co-starred Vivian Blaine as Miss Adelaide and Sam Levine as Nathan Detroit, each reprising their original Broadway performances. In 1955, for a 6-month run at the Royal Nevada, Guys and Dolls would actually become the first Broadway musical to perform on the Las Vegas Strip, with both Vivian Blaine and Sam Levine reprising their roles, this time for the Sin City. Now, Guys and Dolls would see 3 Broadway revivals in 1955, 65, and 66, starring Jerry Orbach, Alan King, American stand-up comedian Jan Murray, and the star of NBC's 1972 action television series Search, Hugh O'Brien. 1976 would see the first Broadway revival staged by an all-black cast at the Broadway Theater, this time starring Robert Guillaume, the Young and the Restless star Normal Donaldson, the voice of Disney's Oogie Boogie, Ken Page, and American actress and singer Ernestine Jackson. In 1982, a major revival would open at London's National Theatre. This production was basically a rethinking of the musical, featuring an award-winning neon-lit set design, as well as a brassier orchestrations with vintage yet innovative harmonies, and a large-scale tap dance number of the title song performed in the finale. The musical would win 5 Olivier Awards, including Best Musical. In 1990, following the death of one of its stars, Ian Charleson, unfortunately from AIDS, 2 reunion performances of Guys and Dolls with almost all of the original 1982 cast and musicians were given at the National Theatre as a tribute. The tickets sold out immediately, and the proceeds from the performances were donated to the new Ian Charleson Day Center HIV clinic at the Royal Free Hospital, and also to scholarships in Charles's name at the New London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art. Now, the 1992 Broadway revival was the most successful American remounting of the show since the original Broadway production, opening at the Martin Beck Theater and starring Nathan Lane, Peter Gallagher, and Faith Prince. The production received 8 Tony nominations and won 4, including Best Revival of a Musical. Now, a second London revival would open at the National Theatre in 1996, starring Hogwarts professors Umbridge and Imelda Staunton. Now, fast forward 9 years, and in 2005, a third London revival would open at the Piccadilly Theatre, starring Ewan McGregor, who is actually appointed Officer of the Order of the British Empire in 2013, and NBC star of 30 Rock, Jane Krakowski, along with Douglas Hodge. Now, Broadway would see its third revival opening in 2009 at the Nederlander Theater. This time it would star Oliver Platt and Gilmore Girls actress Lauren Graham in her Broadway debut. This version of the show moved the setting from the 1950s to the 1940s and added Damon Runyon himself as a non-speaking character. Now, despite negative reviews, the producers decided to keep the show open in hopes of finding a positive audience response. The show would unfortunately close after 113 performances. Now, to get the musical back on track, a newly revised production would open at the Savoy Theatre in December of 2015, before transferring to the Phoenix Theatre and touring the cities in the UK. Now, creating a tribute to the 1976 Broadway revival, Manchester's Royal Exchange Theatre produced the UK's first all-black cast in 2017. The musical's plot and locations were relocated to 1939's Harlem, with the music referencing jazz and gospel. Now, director Michael Buffon had this to say: "Pre-war Harlem was all about the hustle. The creativity of that era was born from a unique collision of talent and circumstance, as people escaped the agricultural and oppressive South via the Underground Railroad into the highly urbanized and industrialized North. Much of our popular culture, from dance to music, has its roots in that period. Our Guys and Dolls brings all of this to the forefront." Now, reviews particularly praise the music, relocation to Harlem, and the sense of spectacle. And Trenneman of the Times commented, "Whoever had the idea of moving this classic musical from one part of New York to another bit, just up the road, needs to be seriously congratulated. This version of Frank Lester's musical, which swirls around the lives of the pretty gangsters and their dolls who inhabit New York's underbelly, moves the action to Harlem at its pre-war height in 1939. Now, the success of the 2017 production spawned a 2023 London revival opening at the Bridge Theatre. The production has an immense in-the-round staging, where audience members in the pit stand and the stage platforms rise around them, involving audience participation. In November 1955, kind of backing up a little bit, a film version of the musical was released, starring Marlon Brando, Frank Sinatra, and Gene Simmons. Guys and Dolls reminds us that life is full of surprises, and that sometimes the most unexpected encounters can lead to the most profound connections. The show's vibrant characters, from the charismatic Nathan Detroit to the endearing Nicely Nicely Johnson, embody the spirit of New York City, where dreams are made and where even the most unlikely individuals can find their place in the world. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to today's video. If you enjoyed this, please comment on what you liked or disliked. I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to see other videos like this, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, that's a wrap.